Welcome to Women in Business, you guys. It's Thursday evening. How are you? I'm so excited to be here with you. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Sorry, it looks like I get a little technical difficulty. I mean, what else is new here? This is how I roll. So if you are here and you can see me and hear me live, make sure you drop a comment in the comment box so I can see that, to make sure that you guys are watching with me and that you can actually hear and see me. Let me know. I'd love to see that, to make sure that I'm going live before I actually, just start yammering on about all the things. Guys, this is so exciting. I am your host, Maria Froese. I am the host of Women in Business here. I'm also the host of Rise and Shine Pemmican Valley. So I'm really excited to bring to you tonight a show of just me. There's no guest tonight. The only guest you get to see is my face. So I hope you guys are all okay with that. But I know that I have some really excellent content to bring to you guys tonight, and I am so excited to share it. So thank you so much for joining me here. And I would love to hear about what you guys are doing tonight. First of all, what is in your cup? What's in your mug tonight while you're watching the show? Make sure you tell me in the comments. Mine has French vanilla cappuccino, like creamer in it, and a little salted caramel Baileys, because it's fantastic. So no judgment here for any of that. Guys, I am so happy to be here with you. Tonight, we're going to talk about some things that plague just about any working woman. And it is two questions, two age-old questions, guys, which are what? Can you really do it all? Number one. And are you always behind? So we're going to talk about those. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. Just make sure everything is working properly, and I'll be right back with you. Excellent. And as you guys are hopping on today, here's what I want from you. I want you to shout out in the comments that you're here watching it live. If you're watching it on the replay, make sure you tell us that. And then you may ask any business-related questions, and hopefully I can get to all of them tonight. So make sure that you ask your questions in the comments, and let's take a look at what we can come by. So first, let's talk about the little myth of, can you do it all? There have been so many times where, as a mom, an entrepreneur, as a working person out in the field and just doing all of the things that I normally do, and I always feel like, man, I can't just do it all. But yet, I look at some women and I see what they're doing. They're doing so many different kinds of things, right? And I look at these moms who look like they, have it all together. Like they just have it all together. And yet I'm like, well, that's not me, right? And so a couple of years back, I started following someone by the name of Rachel Hollis. Now, if you know who Rachel Hollis is, raise your hand in the comments. We know and love Rachel Hollis. And I was watching one of her like live videos. And one of the things that she said is that people always said, how can you do it all? How are you doing all of those things? And she was like, I'm not doing them all. I may look like it, but I have people who help me. So someone who comes in and cleans, someone who watches the kids for me. I have people who come in and help you. And it was a huge, dramatic, big blow up, like on the internet. It was a huge thing where people were, number one, saying things like, wow, she can't do, she's like, she makes it look like she does everything herself. And then yet she has a maid and she has a nanny. And so this is how she, gets all this stuff done. And so then there was the people on the other side who were like, woohoo, good for you for saying that you have someone to help you, because we look at you and go, oh my gosh, like, is there any way that we could ever be, quote unquote, Rachel Hollis? Is there any way we could be that person, that mom who has everything together, and look like everything together. When you stop by her house unannounced, is everything like in place? And is everything like her kids are all dressed and their hair's not in knots and there's no Nutella on their faces and, that kind of thing. And the laundry's always done and all of the things that sometimes look like, sometimes these working moms have it all together. And these business women who can, really kick butt at the office and they come home and it looks like they're kicking butt at home too. But they think the biggest thing I think that we tell ourselves that we don't realize is that they're not doing it all. They are not doing all of the things. They are making it look like they maybe do, but they're not doing it all. How many of you that are watching feel like you have everything done at all times when you're not worried about getting stuff done? Like, who here does not want to have a maid? Like, just don't tell me. Don't tell me if you don't want to have a maid, because then you can come help me. But I would love to have a maid who comes in a couple times a week and just cleans my house so that it's always perfect, always spotless, and never worry about that. So I can focus on things like building my business. So a lot of you don't know I'm a hospitality coach. So what I do is I help people in the hospitality industry and building up leveling their vacation rentals and things like that. So that's what I do here. I'm a hospitality coach. I'm also a host on Women in Business, a host on Rise and Shine Pembina Valley. I am a mom. I actually work out of the house part-time as well to get my social fix in as well. So, I really am a social person and I need that. So I do have a lot of eggs in a basket, but they're not all in the same basket. So for me, I sometimes get overwhelmed by the fact that I can't do it all. And I love to do it all. And I love to be all the things that I want to be, right? But it's not always possible. So when I can put forth that effort into working on web pages and working on email sequences and doing things like that, that's always a wonderful thing to be able to do. But I'm always thinking of the next thing that I need to do when I'm done that. So if that makes any sense, if that resonates with you at all, make sure you tell me, because this is a live show, guys. I want your participation. I want to know what you're drinking in your cup. I want to know, where are you listening to me from? I want to know, does anything resonate with you? What do you love about the Women in Business show? What do you not? Because I like to hear both sides of it, okay? So, and oh, by the way, I get this colored on Tuesday. I am so very excited. You guys have no idea how very exciting this is. I am so happy about that. That is a fantastic thing. But so now when we're tackling the myth of can you really do it all, there really isn't a way to do it all. So let me tell you, I'm just going to jump over to the comment section here. Hey, John, nice to see you here. Hello. So I'm just going to make sure that I keep an eye on your comments. So if you guys have questions or comments, please make sure that you let me know and I can shout them out on here so we can chat about your questions. I love that. Okay. So I used to be a consultant with this wonderful company. And for over 9 years, I was a leader in the company. Actually, it was 8 years I was a leader. For 9 years, I was with the company. And what it was like a home-based business company, right? And it was a fantastic place to be. Now, our CEO and founder had some really, really great tips here. And I want to share that with you. Something that really struck me because, I think a lot of times we look at any person in business, men or women, we have to wear a lot of different hats. I think right now I'm focusing on women because I'm a woman in business. So that's how it is. But women in business, women at home, women in any business, it doesn't matter whether you're working from your house, trying to build a business of any kind, or working outside of your home in another business, there is something what we all say we've got to put on our different hats. Okay, so I'm home for work, I'm putting on my mom hat. I go to work, I put on my Maria hat. This is what I do. I'm putting on my hospitality coach hat when I go on live videos and I go on coaching calls and things like that. That's what I'm doing, right? That's where I look at that. And we got all these little different hats. And pretty soon your hat rack is just falling over because you've got all these different hats and you can't put them on all at once. So I can't be, if you use the hat theory, I cannot be a mom and an entrepreneur writing email sequences at the same time as watching my kids play Play-Doh. So Our CEO and founder had this really, really great analogy that he shared at one of our really awesome conferences that we went to. And he called it the art of the symphony. This is something that I absolutely love. The art of the symphony. So here's what it was. Instead of saying, I'm putting on all these hats, because what we do is we try to compartmentalize. We try to compartmentalize these feelings, emotions, our roles that we're playing. We try to make it so if I'm writing emails while my kids are playing Play-Doh, I feel like I'm not an interactive mom. I feel like I'm a bad mom because I'm, just letting them play Play-Doh instead of me actually being in there with them. And guys, there's a time and place for all of that. But sometimes they need to keep busy so that you can keep building your business. So you can keep doing the things that you're passionate about. Because seriously, we are so passionate about so many things. And guys, I want you to be able to understand this, that sometimes when he talked about the symphony, this really resonated with me, because sometimes you'll hear the flute playing all on its own. Or maybe the tuba is playing all on its own. I don't know if I don't know if I've ever heard the tuba play all on its own in a band, okay? But when you look at the symphony and you look at all these things, and you have the cello, and you have all these different beautiful things, you've got a violin, and you've got a flute, and you've got a clarinet, and you've got all these things, wonderful, beautiful things, but yet sometimes they have their own individual piece. They have the one thing that they actually are that they're actually focused on, right? So just the clarinet solo, just the violin solo, just the cello, it's beautiful. But sometimes you start adding in different instruments, different components. So now you have the cello and the violin and the clarinet and the flute. And sometimes they're playing 5 or 6 instruments, and it sounds beautiful and it works together really well. And that is what I compare, or not compare, but that is how I choose to walk my journey as an entrepreneur. That's literally how I choose to walk that journey, because instead of deciding that I had to put this hat on and I can't wear 2 or 3 hats above me, I can't wear that. So if I decide that I'm going to play it like a symphony, so I'm going to play the flute, which means I'm going to sit 5 a.m., I'm going to write my emails. Or I'm going to add the cello to the flute, which is the kids that are, playing on Play-Doh, so that I can write my emails right beside them. So I'm still with them, I'm doing that. And sometimes I'm cooking supper in the meantime, right? So you're kind of playing a symphony. It's such beautiful music. If you can look at it with that kind of a strategy, this is what I love about it, is if you look at your motherhood and your entrepreneurship and all those kind of things, your business, etc. If you are not a mom, please forgive me for talking about a lot of things mom. Now that is me. I have 3 kids, I have 2 littles, and I have a bank. So I have a 22-year-old and I have a 4 and a 3-year-old. So I relate a lot of things mom, but I also relate a lot of things to business. So when you are a businesswoman in business, you are playing many different roles. Marketing, you're talking like social media strategy, you're talking about budgeting, you're talking about accounting, you're talking about leading people, you're talking about scheduling, you're doing all those things. Like I said, if you look at it with just if you say I can only wear this hat at this time, you're really restricting yourself. When you use that beautiful symphony analogy, which is so gorgeous, because it's like now you can play multiple roles at a time. Okay, that's not to be confused with multitasking. I'll talk to you for another half an hour on multitasking, but that's kind of where I'm at with this. So I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I am going to be right back with you, and we're going to just finish talking about that a little bit, and then we're going to talk about if you're always behind. Okay, deal? Sounds wonderful? It does sound wonderful, doesn't it? All righty. Oh, we're frozen. I hope you can still hear me over top of this camera thing going on. That's not cool. That is so not cool. Let me see if I can fix this. And hopefully we can get in there. Guys, don't forget to ask your questions. Make sure that you are asking questions. If you have any questions, please throw them in the comments box, and we are going to get to them during the show here. So any questions that you have, if you have questions on something that I've already said or not, you go ahead and throw those in there. Perfect. There we go. Are we on? I hope we're on. This is just so much fun. I hate these things. Anyway, it's totally okay. So here we are. Okay, we're going to be in here. So we were talking about, can you really do it all? And wearing all the multiple hats versus wearing or playing in the symphony, right? So those are really cool things that we can do there. Now, da-dum-dum. Of course it freezes on absolute best frames. Oh, stop doing this to me. Okay. Anyway, so here's what's happening is something is freezing up and I'm not sure what it is. So we're just going to make sure that everything is closed. Everything is like done. It is. Everything is fine, but it's just not loving this. So anyway. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, are you always behind? Are you feeling, I think that all of us can resonate with this at some point, that we always feel like we are running behind. So can somebody tell me in the chat if you're freezing up as well? Like, is your side frozen up? Can you hear me? Anything like that? Because I'll just keep going if you can hear me. And I can just put a picture up instead of my face. Hey guys, are you still there? Can somebody hear me? Either text me and let me know that you can, or stick a comment in the comment box. Make sure that my ringer's on so you guys can see that. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. There we go. Yay, look at that. We're back and we're fun. Okay, that's wonderful. So here we go. Are you always behind? This is what we're talking about. A lot of times we feel like we are far behind. We don't have enough time to figure out all of the things that we need to do. Now that, I believe, is also a myth. I think that a lot of times we're looking now, and I know almost everybody here has had to have heard this saying that you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You are comparing that. So usually when we feel like we should be further along by now, we are comparing our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. So we haven't seen the early mornings, late nights, all the things. Hey, John, how's it going? Nice to see you here. I love seeing your face too. Hello. Okay, so anyway, so sometimes we compare ourselves to someone else's highlight reel, and we don't see all of the things that they've had to go through and all the struggles that they've had to go through in order to be actually where they are, right? So we feel like we're behind. We need to be further along. My business should be further along. My motherhood journey should be further along. I should be, I should have gotten that promotion at work. I should, and always feeling, that you're behind, right? And that's something that I believe is a total waste of time, 100%. I believe that you are wasting valuable time in kind of pining for what you think should be, instead of taking what you have and whatever it is that you have at whatever point in your life, in your business, anywhere that you are right now, that you can say, hey, look, this is how far I've come. Because honestly, guys, if you look in your business, it does not matter what kind of business you have. I don't care if you're working for someone else or working for yourself. I do not care, because here's what I say is that you can take a look at the last X number of months. Let's say at the last year of your life, you are further ahead than you think you are. Okay. You have grown immensely in the last year. I think that there has been so many times that I look back and go, man, I should be further along. I should have more clients. I should have, ran more boot camps. I should have done all these things. And yet I look at where I am now compared to where I was a year ago and how far I have come. So those are the kind of things that I want you to take a look at. I don't want you to say you should be further ahead by now, because I know that in your heart, your passion, you want to see your passion succeed. You want to see that baby, that thing that lights your soul on fire, that thing, that passion that you have, when it lights your soul on fire, I know that you want to see it succeed and you want to see it further ahead. And I get that. And I feel that, and I'm here with you in it. Okay. I absolutely understand that 100%. Okay. I realize that. And I realize if you have a dream, if you have a business dream, you're like, man, how do I create it? How do I make it to fruition? How do I get it to, bloom, blossom? How do I get it to do anything? And guys, there's only one answer for that. And it's just working at it consistently. And that's the crappiest answer that someone gave me. And I have come to realize that, can I say crappy on the air? On this channel? I don't know. On my own channels, I say crappy, but let's just hope I haven't offended a whole lot of you. If you have, connect with me on Facebook or Instagram and send me a message and tell me to stop saying crappy. Okay, and now I've just said it like 5 times. So now I've really done myself in, like legitimately done myself in, right? Okay, so we're not going to, there's a couple things we're going to stop doing today. You ready for this? We're going to stop pretending we can do it all. Okay, we're not going to be doing it all. We are absolutely not able to do it all. And anybody who looks like they're doing it all isn't. There is some place that they're struggling, that they're forgetting. You just don't see it, so we're going to stop pretending like we can do it all. Does that make sense to you? We can't do that all. We are rather, stop. Thank you, John. Thank you. Stop. We are not going to do that. We are going to, we're going to understand that we cannot do it all. We're going to play a symphony instead of saying we're going to try and wear 30 different hats, right? So, that's really wonderful. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stop doing that. And we're also going to stop comparing ourselves, our behind the scenes, to someone else's highlight reel. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stop those two things. So today isn't a show about, motivating you to do something. It's to stop something. And that's okay, because you guys, I know where your hearts lie. And I know that when you have a business, when you have a passion and you want to bring it, forward and you want it to succeed, that you definitely want to push it forward and you want to see it grow faster than what it does. But one day you're going to look back at it and you're going to go, wow, in 1 year from now, you'll look back and go, wow, I'm further along than I thought I was, right? And so that's what we're looking at today, is those two things. So guys, do you have any questions for me? Drop them in the comments there so that I can answer any of your questions. Business-related questions. Let's leave it at that. Business-related questions. So I will say if they are business-related or not. One thing I find to keep myself organized for when I feel like I can do it all, I find that I use Trello a lot, Trello. I'll put it in the comments here. Let's see if I can pull it up without pulling up my board. Let's see if I can do that. If it'll allow me, it will. Perfect. So I will take that and we'll drop it in the comments here. And that is the app. I use it on my phone and I can actually just kind of like brain dump all of my things in there. So in that moment when I feel like I can do it all and I have all of these wonderful ideas and I throw them all into there and I can categorize them, and then later on I can go through and I can prioritize things, because we know that in order to be able to be successful in those things, we need to be able to prioritize it. So that's what I use my Trello app for. I use that to make sure that I can get rid of like all the feelings like I have to do it all. Okay. So that's one of those things. And then remember, I just always like to keep a gratitude list of saying things like to myself. And I'm like a huge encourager to others, and I suck at doing it for myself. I legitimately do. I love to be other people's cheerleaders, and I'm like, yay, you did this, and yay, you did that. And they're like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, really it is. And then I do something and I look at myself from a year, ago, and then I'm like, oh, no, I'm not anywhere near where I want to be. And so in order to do that, I keep a little gratitude list and things of like, okay, I wrote an 8 email sequence, and I'm like, wow, I wrote 8 emails for one sequence. I'm so excited, which a sequence, if you're wondering, is like if somebody signs up for one of my boot camps, they get 8 sequential emails that get scheduled out as soon as they sign up for the boot camp, and it starts up. So at certain times and certain days and stuff like that. So that is kind of a fun thing that I've done. And that to me was like a huge win. I've never written anything beyond just one email at a time. So it's like for me, that part of planning and executing and stuff like that was really exciting. And it was a huge win for me. So writing down a list of the wins, writing down a list of the things that are wins for you so you can go back to them and be like, hey, this is wonderful for me. So that's something that you can do as well to help you kind of cheerlead for yourself, to know where you're at and that kind of thing. So there we go. So nobody has any questions, you guys. I don't see any questions. So that's wonderful. But you guys can tell me what's in your coffee. What's in your mug? Anybody? I know some of you are probably listening to this and not actively being online. So I thank you. But guys, I actually really want to thank you for watching. I know that when you take any of your time out in your day, whether it's to watch me on the morning show or to watch me on the Women in Business show, I hope that I'm giving you value for your time, because I do not take it lightly that you guys choose to spend a Thursday evening at 8 o'clock with me. I so appreciate it. I love every minute of it. And guys, it just to me means the world. It really does. So thank you for watching. Without you guys watching me, there'd be no point in putting on the show. And I do see so many of you watching on the replays. And so I thank you for that. And I also thank you always for the kind messages that you send me after the shows. I really appreciate those too. They are absolutely wonderful. Hey, Tina, how are you today? I hope you're having a great day. That's wonderful. Thanks for joining us here. We're almost done, but thank you so much for popping in live here. You betcha. So anyway, so I thank you for that, guys. And I also want to thank all our wonderful sponsors. I want to thank Fabricland. I want to thank, hold on, let me just pull up my list of sponsors because I don't want to forget anybody. So I want to thank Fabricland. I want to thank Investor Smarts. I want to thank Wolf Enterprises. I want to thank Pura Nada and Evolution Greenworks. I really just think that you guys are incredible, and thank you so much for sponsoring these segments so that we can do this fun stuff. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I love seeing you here. And again, just make sure if you have any questions, even afterwards, even after the replay, just make sure you submit them here, and I will make sure to answer them for you in as short of a form as possible, or maybe even on my Instagram. I can do that for you. So have a great night, you guys. Have a great rest of your week. It's Thursday, so have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Why go solar? It's not just for the environment, although that is a great reason. Did you know that when you install your new solar plant, you are only paying 7 cents per kilowatt? That's right, 7 cents. Solar is now cheaper than buying electricity, 25% cheaper than buying it from Manitoba Hydro. Going solar is different from any other investment you will make in your life, as you will retain the value on your roof. Solar does not depreciate like other investments do, and unlike a GIC, your investment will start paying you from day one. And when you choose to sell your home, well, you will get the cost of the solar back, as this investment rarely depreciates. When choosing solar, look for high-end products like microinverters with 10 to 25-year warranties. Make sure your installation is done by a professional. We are Evolve Green, and we are celebrating 12 years in the industry and can help you put your roof to work for you. Ask also about your options like battery backup for when the grid fails, and how about solar heaters to get rid of snow buildup? Are you a farm or a business? Did you know that your solar is a 100% tax write-off? Yes, that's right. You can write off all the cost for the solar in the year you purchased it. This is a